Target locked. Ready to fire.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report here on the Piper Academy channel. Guys, we got a lot of red on the daily, hourly, giving us a little bit of a move to the upside. But what I'm watching here on the chart is not giving me much hope. We have fallen out of these fib ranges that we've been tracking for a while, dating all the way back to June here. June 22nd was the bottom to the top of 126. We've lost this range. We're now going to have to take a look at a new fib levels, some old ones. We're going back to fibs from 2018 in order to track where this thing's going next. Of course, we got the battlefield, and as the thumbnail said, let's keep an eye on the battlefield. You guys noticed when I did all these phase lines here, I put them all below us. I didn't put really any above us. There was a reason for that. So let's take a look at the battlefield today, figure out what it's looking like. Let's take a look at what we got in the news. And of course, do some, hey, how far down are we going to go? And we'll look at some macro, whatever else we need to. X marks the spot, a whole lot more. Right here today on the Morning Market Report. You guys know what time it is. Get your notebooks out. Get your Trapper Keeper, Alexander G, because class is in session. Let's go. And I still need to fix that. Don't know why my screen monitor is so much bigger than the rest, but yeah, we'll figure it out. That's supposed to be popping up there and all kinds of stuff. I went back to a normal size instead of widescreen, hoping that maybe it helps with the stream. I don't know. We'll have to see. But even the dead cat don't bounce. This is true. Let's go ahead and bring my co-host up here. We've had a crazy morning this morning, haven't we, OC? Trying to get this thing started. Alex O, I don't know if you were tracking, but Alex O had an issue on his live stream. He had a phone call, and the person that was on the phone, you could hear them through the microphone and got his email. So he's like, scrap this immediately, scrap this video. So he did, and he restarted. So he's still live right now. But yeah, I was trying to get his attention because he thought he was live and he wasn't live. And I'm in his Discord like, hey, bro, you're not live. You know, so it's all good, man. It's Friday. It's what we do. So Trapper Keeper out, Army Piper. Appreciate you, Alexander G. Let's give a shout out to the chat today. Let's give a shout out to all the peoples. And OC's breaking his camera. OC's breaking the camera today. Man, what a Friday. We got Alexander G in here. JB Hawk Smash is in the house with us. Who is that up there at top? I can't even see it. Oh my goodness. Somebody said have a fantastic day. I'm sure it was Alexander G. But anyway, we got Mike Vollmer in here. We got BC Port Corp, Mike Play, Wix Wife Fine 89, 2Dub in the house with the CJ Taylor. That's my bro, my real bro. Taylor Wood saying good morning. Appreciate you being here, Taylor. Who else we got in here? We got Eric Wallen. He said, let's go. Eric Wallen's also in the said that even the dead cats don't bounce. So is there any hope, Piper? I plan on selling everything this weekend, Mike Vollmer said. Mike, maybe start taking some profits. Not financial advice, but we put that warno out to the members in the community a while ago. How long ago, Alexander G, did we say abandon ship? It was a while. I don't know.
Abandon ship.
But yeah, you might want to consider that. We're going to talk about it today. We'll see where we're at today, and then we'll see like what it looks like, and you can make your decision from that call. But I'm going to show you like what needs to happen here and what we're likely looking at. And we got a little battlefield set up that we've been building, so we'll talk about that too. But you know what Hexets can do to my Southern Spear? Wick, what's up, Chad? How you doing, man? All right, OC. We're going to talk about Wyckoff distribution today. We've got a Wyckoff pattern going, so you get that ready. But where are we looking at right now on Bitcoin? Let's go jump over and talk about that. You give us the first rundown. I'll go into a little bit of news. I'll come back, give my spiel, and we'll see how everything's looking. But what do you got for us, OC?
Excellent. So we were talking about like everything is bad, probably worse than you were expecting. Not just kidding, of course not. But we were seeing this coming, right? I mean, this is the 4 hours really quickly. Let me zoom out just a little bit and try to get, not that out of the way. Let's actually lock it. So as Piper says, lock your feet, people. Lock your feet.
Lock your fib.
Get a little bit of Absolutely. Get some things here out of the area, but you'll see. And right before I clean this up, look at how that confluence was bunching up in here, bunching up in there. Remember when we went up in here to the dynamic reactor? Remember I told you, well, the very first area to look for, it is 102, 100K. And guess what? We did had that bounce. And then we were talking about, hey, we are below that zero line in here. Looks like we're having that little bit flip of the ribbon, but don't trust it. We are still on a downtrend. Next target, if we don't hold this zone, and the actual area that I would love to see it, it's a 104, sorry, the 94 area, 96 area. And look at that. We have a low of, let me read that, 94,455 on Coinbase versus US dollar. So looking pretty good based on what we talked about yesterday. It's hitting off one of my targets in here, right? Well, what is up next? For that, let's go and check out a little bit of a bigger chart in here, right? So we have another trend line in here coming down all the way since July 2025, right? Coming down for these lows, these lows, these lows. And look at that, we're getting into not only that 94 zone, but also look at that, our very bottom will be coming at 94 137 ish, or even 93 397 ish, right? So just a couple of hundreds of difference, not much. And if we zoom in, we'll see that we are pretty close to it. Something that is giving me hope that we're getting ready to bounce to the upside is this big wick at the bottom. Remember, this 4-hour candle is not yet closed, so we can still body this candle up, right? Or wrap this candle up and even maybe move a little bit lower. But so far, this candle is looking pretty good. Added to it, let's go to the 30 minutes in here. We already have a bounce, confirmed bounce in here, right? And well, if we're lucky enough, we could get back at 98, and around 98, we might be able to see the range that we were speaking up yesterday, right? So this range. So until I see that range once again, right, I'm not gonna be looking for any trades. Still the same area for coming back down, somewhere around 95 to consolidate a Wyckoff ranging here. And once again, looking throughout the weekend to maybe pump up a little bit to the trend line here at 100K now, and then maybe bounce back below, right? So option A was the one that played out. So let's just get rid of option B here. And of course, let's follow along this side. Let me just visit the weekly really quickly and then pass it over to you. And I want to go over the big ranging here. So we have already broken the range. Remember that couple of classes ago, Piper, you mentioned about the parabola. So are we breaking that parabolic movement? Abandoned ship? Are we all on fire and should be leaving the boat? Well, I still said not just yet. And remember, we also talked about, well, depending on how you draw your parabola, you might have that little bit of wiggle room, right? And I believe that we are still within that same wiggle room that we saw before, right? When we fake out. And this is exactly what I would love to see. I mean, not because I want to see it means that it's going to happen, but I really want to see this candle pumping back up on the weekly, right before Sunday, and have a wick right down there. That will tell me or give me the hint that eventually we are going to start moving back around to the upside, giving us a possible target. And I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of hopium up around 150, 145 ish, right? If we do a early December pump. But other than that, next target, now if we close the weekly candle as is, the next target will be right here around 83, where our dynamic reactor is going to be. Look at that, we're getting very close to have that flip of the ribbon. And also look at our consolidation score. It's pretty high, means that this consolidation might be over soon. But also we are still pretty bullish, which means that we could be breaking that range to the upside. So it's not looking that great still. I mean, we can still drop a lot, all the way to 85, 85, 83. But I believe that this is, for the macro perspective, a good area to grab some Bitcoin. Remember, my first spot entry was at 100K, and I haven't entered since. So yeah, that's what I got on the weekly and on the 4 hours, Piper.
Awesome. Now we put a poll up for everyone that says, is the top in? And right now, 67% are saying yes, 32% saying no. Guys, go ahead and vote on that. We got 7 votes so far, 57% to 43% now. Here, we'll bring it over here so everyone can see it. There you go. 57 to 43 right now. I think I'm leaning more like 65, 35% chance that it is over, 65% that it is. But let's talk about some metrics here. Let's get into the macro, and we'll come back and we'll talk about what I'm seeing on the higher time frames on my charts and why I think that we could see a 50% retracement, which is not unheard of in Bitcoin cycles, right? We've seen 50. We had a 50% retracement in the middle of the summer of 2021, right in the middle of the parabolic run. So we talk about what that level looks like. But let's go ahead and jump over and knock out some macro news. Let's get in there. Looking at the metrics right now from into the Cryptoverse. We're sitting at $3.257 trillion right now. The trend on this coming in at about $4.66 trillion. Currently undervalued, about 30% undervalued from that median red line there. That is the trend fair value. Looking at the current wristbands, we're at 44.5% on the wristbands. That is for our Piper Plan DCA over in the Discord. And then right now, looking at the Bitcoin dominance, guys, we're at 59.62 with stablecoins. Take them away, we're at 65.38. Like I've said before, I think that this is actually going to hit like 63, 64, and I think this is going to hit close to 70 before it's all said and done on the metrics here. Looking at the altcoin season index, where we at right now today, it's loading. That's where we are. Loading. There we go. We're at 42.22, staying in that 40 range, pretty solid on the index for the alt season. I don't think we're going to get an alt season though, guys. I think if we do, it's going to be something like we saw here, where it was a quick spike. This entire season going all the way back to 2023, the beginning of 2022 and or end of 2022 going into 2023 was the last time that we had a true alt season. Yeah, we spiked up into that 75% band, but we came right back out of it twice in the cycle. So Bitcoin really taking the wind out of the sails for everything else. Let's take a look at the liquidations in the past 24 hours. Past 24 hours, 278,426 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations coming in at $1.36 billion. Largest single liquidation order happened on HTX. It was a Bitcoin order for $44.2 million on a single loss, getting crushed. Let's go talk about the metrics, or the X marks the spot here today, guys. First of all, shout out to Alex O Crypto. The family over there hit 18,000 subscribers, so we got to give them a shout out. Drop the honors in the chat for Alex O Crypto. Looking here at the fear and greed index, we're sitting at 16 in extreme fear, and everyone typically goes, this is the time to buy, run into it, right? I want to point something out that Lunar Beaches, shout out to LBC, there he is. The top is never in if you time horizons long enough. This is true, LBC. He said, just FYI, there was a period in 2022 during the last bear market that Bitcoin stayed in extreme fear for 11 weeks straight. And it wasn't even the bottom. There was another period where it was in extreme fear for 9 consecutive weeks after that. Point is, just because we're in extreme fear does not mean the bottom is in. Could just be a local bottom before a relief rally that leads to more downside. As with every other indicator, you need confluence. Without confluence, it means nothing. So if you're one of those people that go, hey, look at that fear and greed, it's extreme fear, it's time to get in there, LBC said, pump your brakes. That's what he said. Looking here at the KBC letter, back-to-back KBC letters here for you guys. The U.S. Labor Department says they are unsure if they'll be able to release October CPI inflation data. That is very convenient. And then they also said the White House announced that the October jobs report will be released, but without unemployment data. So can't make this up, guys. Can't make this up. We are getting no data for inflation and no data for jobs. I really think the data is horrendous right now. And so, yeah, that's absolutely manipulative, in my opinion. And when you're not giving people what they need to know, you are trying to inflate the system. It's like it's like the tires deflating and the federal government's over there like blowing as hard as they can on a tire, trying to keep it inflated. Just don't tell them. Just hide everything. I feel like the federal government is doing the equivalent of like your teenager to hey, clean your room, and then you go in there and they're like, it's all clean, and everything's just thrown in the closet. That's what this is right there. So here we are. You are here. The OC, get this ready. SOW was October 10th. UT was October 29th. LPSY, November 11th through the 13th. Any bounce you get is your last chance to exit. And I'm going to go ahead and copy this image, OC, and I'm going to drop it over to you so that you can have this. Let me get it here. There we go. There's your image. We're going to talk more about this because OC is the guy when it comes to Wyckoff distribution. So 2-day losses for big stocks. Even they're getting hit. It's not just crypto guys. It's not people going after the crypto bros. Palantir down 11%. Tesla's down 10.5. Intel is down 9%. AMD is down 8. Oracle down 7. NVIDIA down 6. Alphabet down 5. Amazon down 4.5. IBM is down 4. Microsoft is down 2.5. Large cap tech stocks have lost $1.5 trillion in 48 hours. And of course, I want to point this out. We talked about it yesterday, but FX Evolution brought up some good points here. Michael Burry just closed his fund right after putting on shorts and rotating the rest into cash. This is giving Serious.com vibes. Remember 2000? Julian Roberts shut Tiger Management in March 2000 because he didn't understand the market anymore. That was his reason. Weeks later, the bubble detonated. Tony Dye, nicknamed Dr. Doom, was fired for being too bearish right before the NASDAQ cracked. The biggest bears didn't blow up, they gave up. Then the markets finally broke. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes aggressively on the turn. This Burry move is worth paying attention to, and it could mark an important point that we look back at in the next couple of years. And then this was brought up by DeGenny from the blockchain. I actually have some ChatGPT dig around on this. But the U.S. government, guys, this came out on November 12th, and he asked me in a comment on the video, because I go back and read your guys' comments. He said, hey, did you see about the government borrowing $619 billion of debt during the 43-day government shutdown, and that they spent $14.4 billion every day that the government was shut down? Can you talk about this? And I said, sure. There's only one thing that never stops in the U.S. government. That is deficit spending. So we'll get into that in a little while, and I'll dig that down, tell you what she said about, is this normal? Is this not? But yeah, it was pretty good amount of money there. I Googled Wyckoff distribution. Don't do that, Dave. Don't do that. You might not like what you get. Looking at the stock market right now, Dow Jones down about a little under 1% right now. S&P is down about 0.5%. NASDAQ was down 1.5%. It's seen a little bit of a rally. Right now, though, it is down 0.48%, which is about what NVIDIA is down. So maybe that's just NVIDIA. Who knows? Russell 2K is down about 0.5%, and the volatility index is spiking hard at 21.65. Looking at the bonds market right now, we're seeing the 10-year yield getting a little pump action, coming at the 4.11 again. Oil is at $60 a barrel, so no dangers there of it being below that $60 threshold, which is an economic red flag, by the way. Looking at gold, though, gold getting a little bit of a pullback, too. 2.82% downside, sitting at $4,076. Silver is at $50.74, down about 4.5%. Copper down 1%. Platinum and palladium both down 2% and 4%. I think a lot of market uncertainty right now. People are just pulling into cash. I'll have to look at the Dixie here in a bit and see how that's looking. Maybe you can pull that up for us, OC, and we'll jump over to you in a second and look at the DXY and see how it's doing today. Bingo Bango, I think Trading Tuition's in the house. He is. There we go. I see him. When I see Bingo Bango, I know that man's here. Looking at the crypto bubbles today, guys, Bitcoin currently down about 6.2%. Ethereum is down about 7.1%. Other big movers, XRP down 7.7%. Solana down 8.9%. Tron's only down 1.3%. Good job, Tron. Doge is down 8%. Cardano was down 9.2%, down to 50 cents again. Chainlink is down 9.1, very far off of $800 there, even off very far off from $40. But look what's up. Zcash
Zcash still going up. It's up 14.9%. Man, is this going to be the Shiba Inu play of this cycle? Shiba Inu, I'm going to buy it. It's up 14 million percent. I don't know, man. It's up 14.9 right now, though. Stellar Lumen's down about 6.8%. And Monero, another privacy token, just like Zcash, up 3.2. Rounding out that top 20 is HBAR, which is down 10.6%. And a lot of our other tokens, SWE is down out of the top 20. It's dropping down there. Some things are looking pretty brutal right now. Pretty brutal on the market. How about the economic data? Well, we're not going to get any. I just showed you that. No economic data for anyone. No CPI for you. No jobs, unemployment. They said we're going to get jobs data, but no unemployment. So what the hell are we going to get? Like, come on, man. I think they're hiding data. I really feel like they're hiding a lot of data from us. We're not getting anything this week or next week. Monday, we're going to get some Fed speakers. ADP employment change came in previously. This is going to be the weekly one from private sector. That's why we're getting that. It was negative 11,000 jobs, which again, I think that's why we're not getting that stuff. And then Wednesday, we're going to get FOMC minutes from last month. More Fed speaking, and there's no times on any of this stuff. So guys, I'm still not seeing where we're getting our data. No data scheduled to be released to us at all. And we're going to be kept in a bubble, and we're going to be kept in the dark and fed crap like mushrooms. That's what we're going to get. How are we looking for a chance of a rate cut right now? We're looking at a 51.6% chance of a rate cut in December, 48.4% chance that we get no rate cut in December. New foreclosures that we can look for news headlines and see what's coming out and try to give us an idea of what's really going on with the economy. New foreclosures jumped 20% in October, a sign of more distress in the housing market. Foreclosure start, which is the initial phase of the process, it rose 6% for the month and were 20% higher than the year before. Completed foreclosures, the final phase, were up 32% year over year. Florida, South Carolina, and Illinois led the nation in state foreclosure filings. While the numbers are still small, the persistent rise in foreclosures may be signs of a crack in the housing market, which would also be signs in the economy, cracking in the economy. So just a little bit of data there for us. Let's take a look at this. Congressional hemp restrictions threaten $28 billion industry, sending companies scrambling. Hey, if the economy's bad, why don't we just make it worse? Shout out to politicians. The congressional funding bill that they just passed and included a THC cap that effectively banned most hemp products, a move that industry leaders say threatens a $28 billion industry. More than 300,000 jobs are at risk. Good call. Good call. Way to go, FedGov. There you go. 300,000 jobs on top of that, and that $28 that won't be flowing back into the economy. The government shutdown, Backpay headed to federal workers is coming in days. I've seen a lot of people talk about all this money and how it's going to flow into the markets and this and that, guys. These people haven't been paid for 43 days. They need things like insurance, car payments, rent, back payments, whatever fees that they have on their bank overdraws and things like. They're not putting this in. They're going to be paying to survive. That's what people are going to do with their money from the government money. It's not flowing into markets. So people that are saying that out there, please stop. Please stop. You're so unhinged from the reality of the economy if you believe that you need to watch Piper Academy more. That's just all there is to it. Tesla recalled 10,500 Powerwall 2 battery systems due to overheating and fire risk. That's another reason, right on top of all the sell-off that we're seeing on Tesla, for more sell-off on Tesla. The tech sector taking a hit, but hey, let's add a little bit of fuel to this fire and say that we need to recall 10,000 of our batteries. That would be great. Gold falls as the Fed cut hopes fade after hawkish Fed comments. What'd they say? Gold prices are receiving support from a cautious mood that has set in across the financial markets. However, the upside remains limited by growth doubts about a Federal Reserve rate cut in December, given that the lack of fresh economic data is coming out. We're not getting any. U.S. government reopened after a record 43-day shutdown that had disrupted key economic data flows. The White House, however, tempered hopes for clarity on the economy, stating that October's unemployment data may not become available.
Gold may also be facing pressure from position closing to meet margin calls triggered by declines in the equity markets. Equity markets tumble on Friday following the global sell-off triggered by the hawkish Fed signals. And then according to the CME Group's Fed Watch tools, we're seeing about a 49% probability that we get a quarter point rate cut in December. It's down from 64. It's actually 70 earlier in the week. Meanwhile, physical demand for gold across major Asian markets was subdued this week as elevated price curtailed some buying activity. Some people said, damn, that's expensive. I think it's going to get more expensive. Just my 2 cents. And of course, where are we at on the monthly closing here? We're at 12.15% downside. Remember the last time we had a red October, we hit 36% downside. So that's what we're looking at there. And then D. Jenny from the blockchain. Let me bring up your part here, man. Let's see. Shutdown debt increase. This is the one. Here's the answer to your question, and this has to do with this back here. The thing that he asked me to do. He said, "Hey, can you take a look at this?" It was, what was it? It was about the federal government debt. Anyway, there it is. The U.S. government borrowed $619 billion. So I went through the whole rundown and I said, "Is this normal? Is this normal? Let's do it." She said, short version, debt always keeps growing during shutdowns because most federal spending doesn't stop. What is unusual this time is the speed of the increase, not the fact that it happened. So she gave me a little breakdown here to talk about. Let's go into here. Here we go. All right, let's talk about the Kabisi letter chart that's making the rounds. It says U.S. government added $619 billion in debt during a 43-day shutdown, about $14.4 billion a day. And the punchline is deficit spending never shuts down. Here's the thing. They're not wrong about the number, but the framing is doing a little sleight of hand. A government shutdown doesn't mean that the government stops spending. It mostly pauses a slice of discretionary spending, such as parks, a lot of staff agencies, some programs. But big money, Social Security, Medicare, other entitlements, and interest on $38 trillion of existing debt, that all keeps going. Treasury auctions don't stop. The deficit machine never turns off. What is alarming is the speed of this buildup. So for the year, debt's been rising about $6 billion a day on average. During the shutdown window, it was more than double that, over $14 billion a day. So no, the shutdown didn't cause $619 billion of new debt by itself. It just happened during a period where we're already in an insane borrowing trajectory. The circus in D.C. gets the headlines, but the real story is structural, automatic spending, higher interest costs, and zero anything politics will to fix it. So the lights might go off in some federal buildings, but the debt clock never even flickers. She couldn't really talk about where the $14.4 billion came from. The shutdown equals zero spending does not equal zero spending. The shutdown mostly hits discretionary spending, but the Treasury is essential, so auctions keep on running. They did buy a lot of their Treasury bonds, so that could be a big chunk of it. And I do think that maybe they included the $20 billion that went to Venezuela in there, maybe. But yeah, overall, who knows? Who knows? We're going to have to get more data coming out of DC to get that, but it is an astronomical number. It was not abnormal to see spending during a shutdown, but at this rate, it was a very strong and fast shutdown or spending level. Let's go talk about what I'm seeing on the bigger chart here, guys, and talk about the weekly. Dave Digital has an OnlyFans? What? Okay. Let's talk about this here. So you guys know this chart here that I've been watching. And I'll go ahead and bring OC up here with me. Come on up, OC. This is the chart that I've been watching for my fibs going from June's bottom to the all-time high that we had in October. And it's been giving us some really good levels, right? We had, hey, look, we got a rejection on the 382. We came down. We had all this rejection on the 0.66. Platinum pocket held us. Guys, we got to get rid of this. It's now gone. We are now going back to a throwback that I had for a long, long time. Let's put this on the daily so you can see where this is pulled from. This comes from the bottom of the market in 2018 to the top of the market in 2021 to our bottom in 2022. And it gave us fib extension ranges. And so you can see here, our phase one, or phase two, really, 1.66 to the 1.618 was our top this cycle. Clear as day, clear as day. We had a golden pocket rejection, okay? We now have to be watching this because right now, look at this price action on this candle, what it's trying to hold. We drop below this, we're heading down from there to $81,000. Okay. We are below on the daily, the quantum reactor, the dynamic reactor. Quantum reactor hasn't yet turned red on the daily, it has on the 4-hour. But yeah, we have to keep an eye on $81,000 here. I'm watching to see the prophecy give us a dump indication on here. You can see right now that as far as multi-time frame goes, and I'll bring this up and make it larger for you. Our multi-time frame deck here, our dashboard, that's the word, dashboard. We're currently sitting with a lot of gray and red multi-time frame. This is starting at 5 minutes all the way up to the daily. Nothing's really green. We're in red from 4-hour and below. The only thing green is the multi-time frame prophecy, which is this pump back here. I do think that we're going to see this switch to dump before this is all said and done. The reason that I think that we need to keep an eye on these levels is going here, and this is the battlefield. This is the thumbnail battle that I did on the battlefield, guys, or the battlefield I did on the thumbnail, I should say. What I'm watching here, we lost our phase line 52. We're now down below the 52-week simple moving average. Okay. We don't really have anything in here. Matter of fact, kind of got a little bit of a fair value gap that we just fell through here, and that's where we're holding at right now currently. But our next one's going to be phase line CME. This phase line CME, if you don't know what that one is from the CME gap that we have back in April of April 22nd. And that is going to be this gap right there that we have not filled yet. We're heading towards it. That gap is going to be coming in. High side on that about 92.5, low side about 91.5. So I do think we're going to be paying a visit to that. If we lose that, though, if we hit that level, guys, here's my problem set. You guys see this right here? This area right here. Watch this. Let's throw on Dynamics Pro and watch what it throws across there. Look at that. That is a fair value gap on that candle. Big drop area. I could see it without putting this on, but it's nice to be able to go, hey, there it is visually, right? Fair value gap comes down here. That's why we have fair value fair value phase line FVG. Jesus Christ, get it out, Piper. FVG fair value gap coming in at about $86,300. Now I know that I have we have a officially broken structure, right? If we come down to 74,000. But we do have a dynamic reactor here on the day, on the weekly, that might be giving us a little bit of a buffer before we get there. Of course, that would be a double bottom if we hit that exactly from this previous low that we had, and it would not be a break of structure. If we come down and we lose that on a higher time frame, guys, we've broken structure, because look, there's your lows to your high, a low, a high, a low, a high, Ohio, a low, a high. That would be a break. That would be a break of structure. Okay. And that would be a lower low, which means we might be setting up for a rally from there for a lower high. And then that means we're going into the bear market. Now, something that I do want to point out here when we go back and take a look at this, let's get rid of the Mexican spaghetti, and then we'll pass it over to OC to talk about Wyckoff and what he's seeing on that chart I send him. Guys, if we look back in history here, when we lost this 52-week, we did have a nice rally that came back to retest it. And this is historically, we've had this over and over and over again. Go back here, lost it, came back. How much of a rally was that to come back to the top? That was a 50% rally to get its rejection, okay? Go back to here. We had a drop down from that level. That was about 30%. And then we did a rally from that bottom to top of about 46% also. If we come here and we go, okay, let's say we drop 30% off of this level, okay? 30% would put us right near the bottom that I just talked about, this bottom over here, and down in that phase line OS and phase line Fib 50, okay? 31% would hit phase line Fib 50, which would be a 50% retracement, just like we saw here. This was a 50% retracement back in 2021 in the middle of the bull market, 55% to be exact. So phase line 50 there on the battlefield would be about a 50% retracement from the top. If that's the case, and we go down to that point and we come back up, that would be about a 43 to 45% return to the upside. Why? because that would be our 52-week simple moving average. And it would give people a lot of chance to either get out if they hadn't yet. If we hit that and we do reject and we're looking at the bear market beginning, then that would give people a chance to get out. But it would also probably wreck a lot of people that sold here that then FOMO back in and then get wrecked a second time. So be very careful. That's why I said when I was asked, should I sell? Maybe start taking profits. You can dollar cost average as easy as you can dollar cost average in. You can dollar cost average out. But yeah, that's what I'm watching there on the chart on the high time frame. The battlefield lines are set. My next line that I'm watching right now, $92,000 range. It's going to be the CME gap. OC, let's go talk about that beautiful Wyckoff distribution and what you're seeing on the chart with that. And then I see that you've got some stock to flow up, which I don't believe in anymore. It has proven itself not to work 2 cycles now, but we'll let you run with it. OC, what do you got for us? And you're muted.
Thanks so much for that. All right, so I don't know what is specifically you're saying that it not work, because if we're talking about hitting targets, yeah, absolutely, it doesn't work. I mean, but talking about hitting or following across a cycle, I think it's still pretty valid, right? And that is just the hit map, right here. So far, we're still within that really yellow area, so that is a little bit concerning. We were talking about that the last, I believe, couple of classes ago, right? If I'm not mistaken. And at this point, well, we see that we're getting hit like in the second high here. So if we compare the first high, perfect, it was like orangey turning into yellow. And right now it's yellow, then maybe turning into green. I would say that if we can go closer, and I just F this up, but if we can go maybe lower and start getting some green, we might have just enough support to then bounce back up. But again, yes, I mean, this is not by any mean a target hit model or anything like that. This is just a model to start looking behavior based on the flattening of Bitcoin price action. But yeah. And of course, I mean, we just had three drives or 4 drives at most, including as far as we can go in Bitcoin history. So we will need more data point on that. Going back into accumulation or distribution phases, let's go check that out. And I know you sent me a picture, Piper, but let me just give you guys where you can learn about it. I think my favorite place to read it, when I was learning it, it was from Binance Academy. The Wyckoff method explained. It shows you in a very, very, very simple way how things work, right? And I think just the base understanding, it is phenomenal. I mean, so long story short, we have a little range, all right? And we're going to be taking a look at this on the picture that you sent me. And then we have the V-shaped recovery. And then we can define the inner range. And what is it important to find the inner range? Just like Alex O would say, that is your sausage. You don't want to be anywhere near to a sausage. You want the buns, right? At the top and at the bottom, the analogy of the hot dog. So, well, then we define where the buns are, and those are going to be our trading session. Something important is going to be the spring, that is the final reversal, and the SOS on the phase D, all right? So going lower, here we have it inverted. It's almost exactly the same. Remember, on phase D, we had the breakout, right? In here, we're breaking out, but to the other side. I mean, this is only flipped. It is just inverted, right? So we have the same range. We have the V-shaped recovery, maybe a little bit weirder, kind of like more into a rounded top zone. Then we define our sausage area, our buns area, right? We look for what in the other picture was called the spring, and then the breakout retest continuation. Understanding this is gonna help you understand the possibilities of a range, because if you can range trade, you're gonna make a lot of money. All right, so first of all, let me get the picture that you sent me here, and it was already positioned. Let me do this, and we'll see. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but look at that. It almost paired 1-to-1 with that previous scenario. What does that mean? That means that despite we did complete it, look at that phase E all the way down in here, right? With a little downwards range, which then ended up breaking to the upside. Despite we completed the Wyckoff distribution schematic, there we go. It actually ended up going back above, all right, and create another cycle. It's important to note everything that is out there. For example, the break of the parabola, the breakout of the channel that we have already, right? So if we start not bouncing up at this point, I would also say that we could be jumping into the bear market in the next Wyckoff distribution. Let me push it over here. Let me bring this up, right? And you'll see that also pairs almost 1-to-1. In this case, I would need to actually make it bigger. So let me just put it out to the side, all right? And right here we have a little arrow where I believe they're pointing out where we are right here on the schematic. Spoiler alert, I don't think that we are on that same point. I think that the range, right, and sometimes you can better visualize that range in here, all right? Just remember, it's inverted, right? So the range, the PS zone, then followed by the V-shaped recovery, right? I believe that it has been in here. So we have the range, the quote unquote V-shaped recovery, and then the UT spot and the SOW spot are either in between here and here, all right? And the LSPY zone, it was either here or in here, and we are right now on the SOW zone on phase D. So I actually believe that if we're making the Wyckoff scenario, we are somewhere around the zone, basically pairing 1-to-1 with this area right here. Yeah, it had to be white, right? Right there with the final breakout retest continuation. And guys, I mean, this is not new information. If we actually look at what's going on in here, and let me just move this out of the way for a second and turn on my indicators like in here. Let me go for all of those in a second. This is the 4 hours, but also on the daily looks very, very similar. We'll see that, well, not in here. We do need to go to daily. All right, so for that, we need to go to daily. Here it is. And here in daily, we'll see that we have a lot of confluence right at these zones, right? Where we have this area of support. So maybe something more like this would be better fitted, right? And right here, you can also see how we are distributing. Let me move it to the left a little bit, clean this up again. There it is. And hide this up. In this case, I'm going to leave my, oh, come on, not this one. I'm going to leave my reactor on just so we see that we're breaking it, but we're still not red on the quantum reactor, right? So once again, look at this. We have maybe the LSP area coming down, rebound, and then breaking through the lowest that we have ever been, basically hitting the range. So what is the lowest that we have ever been? The SOW, very close to the previous range, right? So once again, even on the daily, I believe that we could be looking at, and let me throw this. We could be looking at this area. Just to finish this up, right? Because I want to talk about what Piper was showing, the bouncing here. We already have charted this for a long time, remember? And here it is. There it is. The breakout of the channel. They're going for the support zone right in here where we have another liquidity point, right? That will give you enough opportunity to get out whatever you bought in here, because remember, I am buying at 100K, 94K, right, for my holding bags. And then if we have some rejection, maybe going a little bit higher, I can sell for a profit and then send it, right, to one of the services that we're not affiliated, but this is what particularly I am doing. So yeah, I think that pretty much we are in line of what we're saying. I just want to give you a little bit of hopium, which is despite we can complete the Wyckoff schematic, right? We can still bounce to the upside and had a comeback like we did in here. The key difference is that we're going to be losing the parabola, and the next high might be a double top or even a lower high somewhere around the 116, 115. In the other hand, if we actually bounce out of here, I think 150 it is the next target. Yeah, that's what I got.
But at the end of the day, it looks like we got some more downside coming. And I will point out to piggyback to cosign on that. Guys, I told you I've been watching the weekly right here for the bright green candles that we typically get when we're in bottoms. We haven't gotten the bright green candle at all yet. We've gotten the first shade, the second shade, but not the I'm on fire, here's your bottom yet on the weekly. So I do think that we still have some more downside coming here also. Little distribution confluence there. So OC, actually, shout out to Lunar Beaches. He dropped what the PSAR, SAL, BC, all that means in the chat there. Psychological support, automatic rally, sign of weakness, buyer's climax. Ooh la la. Up thrust, more ooh la la in the last point of supply. So yesterday, our second largest daily outflows on the BTC ETF, according to Alexandra G. I do believe that is a true statement, Alexandra. Yeah, a lot of retail selling. Of course, everyone on YouTube, on crypto Twitter are saying BlackRock's dumping on us. No, that's retail selling. BlackRock only owns 6 Bitcoin. For those that don't know, now you know. On their filings, they own 6 Bitcoin. That's it. So all the Bitcoin that you see BlackRock selling, when people go, "Oh my God, BlackRock's dumping on us," no, that's retail selling, and they have to get rid of it because of in kind versus what they can't hold in kind. So they have to sell. When people sell their ETF, they have to sell Bitcoin. That's what it is. So, OC, how are we looking on some alts, man? Are alts looking spent? Because right now, according to the not that. That's the wrong one. According to the poll that we did here, 59% are saying that the top is in. 41% are saying no, it's not. Let's go ahead and end that. And that was the final tally vote there out of 41 votes. 59% are saying the bottom's in. So how are alts going to hold up? If the top's in, alts are going to sell off big time, right? So
Right.
what do we have? What are we looking at on altcoins right now, man?
All right, so let's take a look at here. Just a quick reminder, guys, that it doesn't matter whether the bigger picture or smaller picture it's bullish or bearish. You can always trade the volatility, right? It's just a matter of understanding what is the trend. The trend is your friend. And you'll see that right now, I just took these 2 pictures. I'm trading live at this point. I entered throughout a long position on Bitcoin 3 minutes for a 60x right here. So it's just this tiny little scalping here. And this is a larger amount in here. This is, yesterday we talked about AERO. AERO is also bouncing. That doesn't mean that we're bullish. All right. So let's go check that out. And just to give you guys this example, what right now it's live on my among the other ones. So if you want to see what I'm trading and what we're trading, first join the Discord. We have JR, we have I drop post in there. We have also a lot of assets right here. We have a list. Piper has been working within a list of stocks along with the team. So we have a lot of things to offer you, and also go check out the very morning show and the very late show in here in Piper Academy. So let's go take a look at how's AERO looking. Remember, we have an alert in here from yesterday. We did hit that support. This is the daily. So let's go to 30 minutes. Here is the 30 minutes. We're looking for that flip of the ribbon. Let me bring that up. We were having that flip of the ribbon right here with the bullish divergence, looking for that support zone, right? In fact, I was looking for a final movement to the downside right in here around these areas, but it is what it is. Remember, we need to wait for some support. We did have a flip of the ribbon here, but I was not on support. And this is something important to understand, guys. It is just not looking at one indicator. And sometimes when you are a beginner and when you're starting to use indicators, you just look at something that had played out many times before. And then when you try it yourself, it fails. But it fails because you're not looking at the full picture. You're having tunnel vision, right? So that tunnel vision is, hey, all right, so I heard that the flip of the ribbon. So I'm going to trade all of the flip of the ribbons, right? In this case, look at that. You missed on being on a support zone. In this case, we had a resistance, so we flip on that resistance, right? And here we had 2 things: leading indicator true 7 pointing up, right? We had the flip of the ribbon pointing up, and we were having that support area. So I'm longing it from this point right here to this point right there, and I'm going to be taking some profits in here, TP number 1 and then TP number 2 in here. Throughout the weekend, I believe that today, Fridays and Saturdays, we're going to be seeing either a range for another Wyckoff scenario, right? And then throughout maybe Sunday, we could be even going lower. I'm going to hold to tonight. I want to see a little bit more of this development on the 30 minutes, because yesterday on Bitcoin, oh, this is not it. Well, I just changed it, but whatever. On Bitcoin, I was expecting that movement throughout today and tomorrow, and then the dump on Sunday. We had the dump right now, right? So I took advantage and also long Bitcoin. And then, so I believe then the range is going to happen throughout the weekend. So we're just inverting things up in here, right? So we have the ranging here, right? This little range. We have the V-shaped recovery. And at this point, we're going to be looking for some ranging scenario or some up ranging scenario. Why? Because these 3 points, and we're missing one, just so you know, we're missing this high. When we hit this high, which should be the same height as this one, we are going to be into this exact pattern. So let me go copy this image. Let's paste it in here into AERO so you guys can see it 1-to-1, right? And right here, you'll see that we compare the previous movement, all right, that is not in there, coming down the little range, coming down the little range, your V-shaped recovery in the AR point, or even this area. Oh, come on, my mouse. And even this area, this is what we're looking for, right? That would be this point right there. So based on what we're seeing, maybe we can have that flip and then start ranging, which will be giving us maybe this range spot. And well, at the end, we'll need to see what Bitcoin is going to be doing. I also have a couple of other altcoins. Would you like me to go over those? Or would
Go
you
for it. I'm just putting together a chart for Crunk. He asked about Bitcoin topping and then the others chart. So I'm putting that together while you do that. Go for it.
Perfect. Let me just clean this up really quickly. And let's move out of here. All right, I want to go and take a look at Ethereum. Let me see how effing Ethereum is, because I hate that thing and I love that thing at the same time. So let's go check this out. And we were expecting that range, right? We do have a range, but it's slightly tilted downwards. That is fine. Remember that we also talked about a possible entry. Just so you guys know, I slipped on this entry. Look at that. It was early. There it is. It was on the 14th, so basically today at 6:30. I was just waking up, so I slept on this one. I did cut Bitcoin and AERO, but I slept on this entry. F Ethereum, man. F Ethereum. Once again, I'm telling you, Ethereum doesn't want to be traded. So I sleep on this entry. It is what it is. Too bad, because right here, we could be having a more developed spring. All right. So I was looking for this spring in here on Ethereum and then pumping back up. So what I want to see here is a little bit of a rejection support going higher right in here. And then another supporting here, something like right here, right? And then a blast through this area right here, basically breaking throughout dynamic reactor. Why do I want to see that? Because I want that is going to be pushing me to the 4 hours reversal. So guys, if you think that you also missed on this entry, don't worry. We might have another opportunity on the 4 hours. Look at that. We just have that one candle. And if that one candle is able to break above, we might be still waiting for that tip of the ribbon. And our leading indicator is pointing up. So we still have a real chance to, and actually have another Wyckoff scenario. Let me paste that once again in here, right? Let me bring this up. And this is what is exciting about crypto, that whenever you think that everything is lost, you just need to actually reboot your perspective of what you're looking at, and you'll see that you still have an opportunity, clean and clear opportunity. So look at this, coming down your little range, coming down your little range, right? Your V-shaped recovery, our V-shaped recovery, right? Our higher zones in here, and then very low, our spring in here. So our spring in here. So we're waiting for this area to break our retest continuation. And I think that right here, let me just clear this up. This is going to be our entry. So what does that mean? Or how would that look like? It will look like, let me zoom in here. Here is the breakout retest 1, 2, 3 candles, and then off we go. The areas of entry, and I already have my alert at 3,297. It's gonna be the top. Let me show you exactly where. It's gonna be this top in here, right? And then we're gonna be trading the retracement and then the push up in here. So that depends on how Bitcoin behaves, but I'm expecting that Bitcoin, it's a little bit smoother and nicer throughout the day. But other than that, that's what I got so far on Ethereum and on AERO. Want me to pass it over to you, or should I be going to the next one?
No, let's jump over here. Let's take a look at others versus Bitcoin. I got others on the left. Let's put Bitcoin on the right. And we'll talk about 2021, and then we'll come back and take a look at what else you got, OC. Well, actually, take us to the top of the hour, actually. So let's jump over here and look at 2021 on the right. 2021. Go back. Way back, machine. There we go. There was our top in 2021 right there, November 2021. And then let's bring this one up here. Nope, I want you to not be the same symbol. Thank you. You're going to be other. There we go. So now we got Bitcoin versus other here. And 2021 is what we're looking at. So there's the top of Bitcoin, November 11th, 2021. There is the top of others in 2021, November 10th. So within a day of each other, others topped versus Bitcoin's chart in 2021. I just wanted to bring that up because it was a good question. When I went and looked, was not weeks in between. They were damn near the same day. And this is the total market cap. Others is total market cap, excluding the top 10 tokens. So yeah, the others, the alts, did not get a rally after Bitcoin topped. They did get a bigger relief rally. If you look here, Bitcoin's relief rally here, I guess we'll go from the wick here to that top side was a 23% bounce. But if you go from that wick here to the top on others, that made about a almost 60% bounce. So it did get a better relief rally than Bitcoin did, but it was not new highs. November 10th versus November 11th. So it might even been the same day. Damn near. So there you go. But yeah, that's about all the time we got today, guys. Appreciate everyone being here. BC, I saw him say, "Did you tell me the institutions don't have all?" No, it's like 18 to 20% or 20, average 20% is what they have, institutions holding Bitcoin. So mostly retail still, guys, just so you know. But yeah, that's about all the time we got today, guys. I hope you guys got something out of today. It is Friday. Please go enjoy yourself this weekend. Don't stare at the charts. It's not going to change anything. If you've made good decisions at this point, then you're feeling okay. If you haven't, then there's time to readjust and look at the Piper plan. There you go. It costs $5 a month, man. I ain't trying to make no money off of you. I really am trying to help you. And also, if you guys haven't done so yet, because interesting little piece of news here. You know the best way to find out when we're live is to hit the notification bell. Did you know that only 9.3% of our subscribers have clicked the notification bell to get notified? So subscribers who turned on all notifications for your channel and enabled YouTube notifications, 5.8%. That means about 95% of people are not getting information that they need to get on a daily basis unless they know Piper's live at this time. So guys, do better. Do better. Those are rookie numbers. Got to pump.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
OC, appreciate you joining us here today, man. You're going to be live tonight?
Yes, I'm going to be live tonight. We're going to be checking out yesterday's trades. And, well, we just have a little bit of advance on those.
Awesome. So, guys, tune into OC tonight. Trade setups with OC Guy at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back here Monday morning with BC Port Corp, kicking it all off at early morning hours with Good Morning Crypto. We'll be back at 10 a.m., bringing you guys the news, the charts, the markets, and everything you need to have knowledge, because knowledge is profit. Guys, until then, trade safe. Be smart with your charts. Peace, love, profits. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Have a great weekend. Later, guys.
That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done.
You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage.
We'll see you at the next
Don't
one.
know what the fuck they're doing.
Morning market report out. 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 Out.
Boom shakalaka.
We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning market report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude.
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?